Well, the celebration of Passover begins next week. This year's festival will feature a famous actor sitting down with local humanitarian workers for Seder dinner.
Rabbi Cohon is here from Temple Emmanuel to tell us all you need to know about Passover that is quickly approaching.
It is coming up Monday night, sundown Monday night, for a week or 8 days, depending on whether you're conservative, Reform, Orthodox, or randomly Jewish. And we'll be eating matzah and celebrating freedom, the festival of spring, the festival of Pesach, the Passover offering, and really, in many ways, the most observed Jewish holiday of all, quite right there with Hanukkah in America. We have a great Passover planned. I was asked just a moment ago, what is matzah? Which is a question we ask at the Seder. We'll ask it at Temple Emmanuel next Tuesday night at our second night Seders. And we will ask it again at a Freedom Seder we're doing the next to last night of Passover. That's one you mentioned. And matzah is the unleavened bread of affliction. It's the symbolic of the ways that our ancestors had to make food in a very short period of time when they escaped from slavery in Egypt 3,200 years ago. And matzah is unique in many ways. It can't be cooked for more than 18 minutes from the time you start to make it until it's done. And secondly, it is guaranteed to have no flavor whatsoever.
Which means it's delicious and your favorite food.
Yeah, it tastes the same as my tie. It tastes the same as this box. But by the way, a lot of people love matzah. God bless them. They can have mine.
There you go.
So what are some traditional Seder dinner meal not supplements, aspects of the meal, I guess?
Yeah, it's a great question. The Passover Seder is the greatest teaching tool ever invented. It's a way of teaching the great virtue of freedom, and in the case of our Freedom Seder, of saving lives, by touching on every sense. So you have taste, you're tasting matzah, you're tasting bitter herbs to remind you, it's maror, to remind you of the bitterness of slavery. You eat charoset, which is this lovely mix that's right here on TV right now, of apples and nuts in the Ashkenazic tradition and other sweet things. And it looks like the mortar that was used between the bricks. So you're trying to teach about slavery. You dip parsley in salt water, reminding you of the tears of the slaves. All of these are ways in which we exercise every sense to remind ourselves that we live in freedom and that it's a fantastic gift and blessing. And so the Seder uses all of these different symbolic foods as well as lots of great delicious foods. The one thing you can't have is anything leavened, as a reminder that this all had to happen so quickly. So there's all kinds of special spring cleaning we do. We get all the leavening out of the house. And in a way, we get all the adulteration out of our lives. It's a chance to kind of not only clean our homes, but clean our lives, make us better. The hard-boiled egg reminds us of the spring, but we dip it in salt water again, reminding us of the offerings we made to God in the days of the temple. Lots of really beautiful ways of connecting us to that great virtue of freedom.
And you mentioned that you have a couple Seder dinners to go to.
We do.
Why do you have so many?
Because, they did a survey of Jews, what holiday do you celebrate the most? Because, American Jews, we have great freedom of choice, right? It's freedom. And Passover is the top one. So there are lots of people who want to celebrate the Seder. And the Seder is not, you don't just go to temple to celebrate the Seder in terms of sitting in a congregation. You can have a big auditorium. You can have a big sanctuary. Lots of people can sit there. You actually have to sit around tables. So there's only so many people you can squish in wherever you go. We have a big one at our house. We have, 30-some people the first night. Second night at temple, we'll have, between 100 and 150 people for our second night Seders. People can still come if they want to sign up for those by calling Temple Emmanuel. We have one in the Northwest because people don't like to travel as far. Theoretically, you're supposed to drink 4 cups of wine. You should do that over a long period of time, and then you shouldn't drive. But if you're going to drive close in any case. So we have one in the Northwest that'll be great, led by Rabbi Batsheva Pell and Marjorie Hochberg. And then we have 2 model Seders, one for our preschool, one for our religious school. And I've forgotten, I think there was a women's Seder last night at Temple. And then sort of the new one that we started this year with Humane Borders. Because Passover is about freedom and we talk about God as our Redeemer, redeeming us from destruction on the shores of the sea. So we decided that it was a good time to commemorate trying to save lives. The greatest Jewish mitzvah of all is pekuach nefesh, saving a life. And we know that between the Mexican border and Tucson, close to 200 people a year die crossing the desert. So we're not trying to encourage immigration, we're trying to keep people from dying. And working with Humane Borders, we were able to have the great Emmy-winning actor Ed Asner, who is Jewish, come out and help lead the Seder. I get to be the, I guess I'm the riding shotgun with Ed Asner. It seems like the wrong term for a Seder, but it should really be great fun. He's a wonderful guy, and I think it'll be a really powerful and meaningful lesson about the great joy and beauty of freedom, and also about the need to save lives in any free country.
How many people do you expect at that dinner?
We expect it to sell out. It's pretty close now. So if people want to go, they should call Temple like right away. We can accommodate, it's a sort of a Jewish number, 180 people will fit. That's 18 is the magical number chai in Hebrew, which means life. We can accommodate 10 times that. We were at 158 or 60 this morning, so I'm sure it'll sell out.
Wow.
Okay.
But we are going to try to live stream it as well on our website. And hopefully Kika can come cover it as well, which would be great.
Exactly.
So it should be, I think it'll be an extraordinary event.
Thank you, Rabbi, for our quick little lesson and for sharing what you have planned for next week.
Absolutely. And if you don't want to eat the matzah, which I don't recommend, we do have these delicious homemade macaroons by Irene Steindler of our congregation.
Okay. I will
They are
take.
kosher for Passover, so these you should eat.
Okay.
This I will definitely.
And there
take.
is delicious food for
you.
Passover.
You're welcome.
All right. Happy Passover to you.
Thank you so much. Happy Passover. We say Chag Sameach.
Chag Sameach. Learn more about what's going on at Temple Emmanuel on North Country Club. You can call 327-4501 or go online to templeemmanueltucson.org. Again, that's 327-4501 and templeemmanueltucson.org.
And we'll be right back.